What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lean and Mean Academy. We got a special video for you today. I got my buddy Cody Yarbrough on the line here. We got a really cool topic that I think is unaddressed and needs to be addressed, is the three hats that you've got to wear when you're running a pressure washing business, especially first and second year. Third year, maybe some of these will lighten up for you a little bit, but we're going to address that here in a second. Look, we got an event coming up called the Serious Starter Boot Camp. It's an event that Cody and I have done intermittently last year, and I think we did a little bit in 2020, if I'm correct. It always sells out. It's 2 days, May 20th and 21st, with Cody Yarbrough and myself. It's going to be a Friday and Saturday at Southeast Softwash HQ down in Roanoke, Alabama. You're going to get to see all the rigs. You're going to get to learn a full technical day with Cody, teaching chemicals, OSHA, safety. I'm going to let him go into that a little bit more. You're going to get a second day with me talking about websites, Google, everything pertaining to marketing that you need as a serious starter to launch your business into 2022 and beyond. All right. So get your tickets. It'll be the first thing in the description, first thing in the comments. What is up, Cody?
What is up, guys? So, like Aaron said, day one, bunch of tech stuff. Day two, bunch of marketing stuff. It's super valuable. A lot of good content. We've sold it out every time, and a lot of those guys, we've stayed in touch with them, and they're absolutely crushing it. We just cut a bunch of learning curve off for you, and the shop is now air conditioned, so you won't be hot in the month of May. It's nice in there, but yeah. We got a good topic for you guys tonight, and I did a Baptist sermon outline for you too, so it's easy to remember.
Daggum. Hey, he's got that. He's going to wrap it up, tie it up with a bow.
So in the words of Anthony Brian Logan, we're going to come back, put a nice bow on top. So without further ado, I love that guy. He's funny.
I'm going to do a call to the altar now. I need everybody to get them tithes and offerings out.
I don't have a poem, no poem, but 3 points. We do have 3 points. So
3 hats that you got to wear in your pressure washing business getting started. Cody, let's run into the first hat.
Right. So we got my hat.
Owner.
What hat you got on? I can't read. Who is that?
This is Mike Turman. Mike Turman, boy.
Man. Turman, if you see this, we represent you, dog. That's
Preston.
One of our
I keep this on for Preston and Micah right here. This sticker.
My boys ask Aaron every time he comes down, because he'll have a hat with, the sticker. They be like, Daddy, why does Aaron keep his stickers on his hat? He's an idiot. He don't even know to take the stickers. Like, son, that's a thing. Like,
he does it for you. That's what he does.
Now he's doing it because he knows you're looking for it. Yeah. So great 3 points here. And this is something Aaron has learned the hard way. I have learned the hard way. Fortunately, thank God for me, I'm now in the kind of the back end of this, and I can take some of these hats off. But a lot of guys, serious starters, guys that are getting into washing or other industries, service industries, really any industry. If your normal is clocking in and working a job, all them office people up there are doing a lot of the stuff that now you're going to have to take on that role. And that's honestly why a lot of businesses fail, is because the only thing that gets any attention is actually going out and doing the work, because that's where you see the action. But there's a bunch of peripheral stuff that keeps you running. Let me go ahead and apologize, because my allergies are just now starting to act up for the year. Normally I would be sneezing, so I'm not sneezing. We're doing a little bit better, but I may have to hock a loogie up here at some point. But 3 hats. Number 1 hat, you've got what do we want to talk about first? Which one you want to do?
Maintenance hat. I think that's the first one that all guys deal with, especially right off the bat. White collar, blue collar, don't matter. They get tossed in the pit of pressurized stuff and maintenance. All right.
The maintenance hat drives me nuts, because, guys, if you don't know who we are, we're the world's largest soft wash equipment provider. So we make turnkey rigs, and we do more than anybody else. Just this year, to date, we're at about 150 for the year, tracking to do a little over 400 this year. And we get guys from all walks of life, and a lot of them don't understand that those pumps are going to go bad, swivels are going to go bad, pressure wash, because just like we said in the previous video, the nature of the business is heavy maintenance. The good news is it's usually pretty cheap maintenance. The bad news is it's a lot of fiddly stuff. and it can shut you down. It can shut you down on job sites all the time. We get this call, it's email a lot. Hey, I'm having a problem with this, and I'm out here on a job site. And what they think is when I hear that they're out there on a job site, that I go into emergency mode, but I don't. A lack of planning on your part does not equal an emergency on our part. Now, we're going to take care of you if it's a warranty thing, if it's a part failed that's covered. When it failed when it shouldn't have, but I'd say 98% of them are just normal failures that are going to happen. And so guys won't keep a spare pump. They won't keep wands, a spare wand on hand, even stuff you lose, right? Like your tips and a pull cord, that stuff's going to break. And we know it because when you got started, Aaron, you pieced together a rig, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah. And you know how many trips to Home Depot I made, and Home Depot ain't got nothing for you. So then you're ordering online, you're having to wait and you don't really know what you need all the time. I mean, just think about it. Think about a guy blowing a 3/8 O-ring and he got no O-rings. Well, guess what? An O-ring shuts you down, coupling into your gun. What are you going to do? Spray water all over yourself, right? You got to have these little things in a kit and you got to be able to turn some wrenches.
Yeah, that maintenance hat is very important. Example, we got shut down one time. Me and Dusty were up in middle of nowhere near Noonan, Georgia, washing. We had a full start pressure washer. Wasn't that old, probably 6 months old. Well, the rope broke. So you know what we wound up doing? Taking boot laces out of our boots and tying them together enough to get it going. I mean, now we're pretty MacGyver-y, but I could just tell you a million stories of crazy junk like that you have to do to get the job done. So just because you bought something that's, turnkey and in new condition, the stuff in this industry is just very prone to failure, and you've got to stay on top of it. Just because we're using corrosive chems, electrical, plumbing, everything's got to stay airtight. You can't get an air leak on the pumps, oil. Just there's a lot going on. So that maintenance hat, man, it's very important that you learn to wear that.
I'll tell you a story before we move to number 2. When I got my soft wash box, it had those little Pentair valves on it, right? Well, for a good while, they worked fine, right? They were working fine. And, come the next season, I couldn't tell. But over wintertime, one of them had swollen up and cracked. Like it was a hairline crack.
Oh,
and they're notorious for that. You can put the MPT in there and it'll crack, right? It don't have to be a swelling situation. But sure enough, right on the day, I needed to use it. And what am I having to do? I'm cutting hoses. I'm batch mixing. Dog, I'm like, we're going to run a batch because so I'm having to be what you were with your bootlaces. I'm having to get out there, take, clamps off, run it. I'm going to dip it down in there and make sure there's like some sort of filter on the end of that hose. And heck, man, how much water do we need? Right. We had to adjust because the situation called for it. And it does kind of take a little bit of savviness to understand the workaround. It's going to take time. So that number 1 hat is maintenance. Cody, what's number 2?
So in no particular order, guys, number 2 is a marketing hat. And this is where Aaron can really talk about why this matters so much. But I'd say probably 70% of the dudes that fall into this industry, they're blue collar-y a little bit, and they can wrap their head around the maintenance. Once they understand it, they shake out okay right there. But this other hat that they avoid is the marketing hat because it's totally foreign to them and they don't really know what to do, and it feels like wasted money. So why is the marketing hat important?
Well, and that's the big hump that I've had to get over teaching marketing is exactly what you're saying, is that the blue collar guy, he's used to these tangible things like a wrench and a bolt and, tightening something up because it's leaking. And it's like, when you start talking about marketing, it's this ethereal cloud situation that you don't really know. I mean, these guys, you ask them to spend just $200 a month for like a footbridge site, right? Well, they're like, well, hell, my daggum direct TV ain't $200 a month. You know what I mean? Hell, NFL Sunday ticket ain't that, and it's like, I need you to understand that we're going to have to spend a lot of money on marketing, and we're going to have to ramp it up. And guess what? You're going to get to be happy about it. I need you to be happy about spending 1,000, 2,000 a month or more, depending on when you get growing on marketing, because the guys who do like these inner circle guys, Cody, like they're spending $2-3 grand a month. Some, John McAbee out in Australia, for instance.
Yeah.
Like he'll spend, freaking $100 a day on his Facebook ads, and so it's amazing the blockage there when it comes to that hat. I need you guys who are blue collar to just have faith in the system and be willing to spend, because you trying to learn it is going to be a big challenge, and you'll be 3 years deep and not really be as good as the guy who's been doing it for 15 years and you could just pay him,
Right. Well, I try to always think about our industry because we get so wrapped up in it. I try to just like take this out of my head and let me pick a whole nother industry. I just look at like heating and air, right? You think about who's the big dog in your town that's heating and air? They got a dozen trucks and they got a building and they're running, 40 employees, whatever. You know who they are. You got a name just popped in your head. And so you've got to be that good to where you are the guy for power washing, and people think you're big, right? You always present yourself as bigger than you are until you turn around one day and you're bigger than you are, right? That's how we did it. We probably won't do it this year, but coming up here pretty soon, we're going to pop a $10 million a year out of here, and a lot of money and effort it's a whole category is marketing, and it's just part of it, man. Like you don't get to do this capitalism thing without putting your name out there. It's just part of it. So you got to get used to wearing that hat, and listen, it's not wasted money. It's an investment. You may not see the return immediately, but people wouldn't be doing it. There wouldn't be an entire TV show called Mad Men, right? I mean, it's a thing like Coca-Cola. They spend billions of dollars on just a logo. Me and Aaron follow this guy, Chris Do.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the future, pretty cool. Millions of followers on YouTube, but that's what he specializes. This dude will make a logo for a major company for like 50 grand, 100 grand. Right. But you're talking about, a major company. Well, we couldn't imagine spending $1,000 on a logo. Guys, their head would fall off. And I'm not saying that we need to do that necessarily, right, but take the point that you got to put a little money right there and learn to wear that hat
and enjoy it. Right. Because if you can reframe it as enjoying spending that money and then watching the fruits of your labor and spending it, you just got to give it enough time to work. A lot of these things are like Facebook ads is very kind of instant gratification. If you're doing it right, if you're using like a Justin strategy or something like that, it'll work. If you do it right, it will work. Google SEO, bro, that's 6 months, a year. Like if you got a guy like me in your city, good luck. You're probably going to have to hire an SEO guy to do that, right? To beat him. So you can compete, you can make some money, but there's people who are willing to put money behind it because they're obviously making the money back. So the second one is the marketing hat. Be willing to invest and spend the money in your marketing. And
let me say this before we move on to this last one, but me and Aaron both hate flyers. Now I've put out 1 million flyers, and I think the reason a lot of guys still like flyers is because it's still tangible, right? It's still, I can put my hands on it, right? That's I have a box of flyers. I'm not saying, and Aaron will say the same thing. Don't not do flyers, but do them while you're on the street, right? Hey, I just popped this roof. Let me do my 5 rounds. I'm already here. It didn't really cost me any time. Good probability I'm going to get a return on those, but don't put, when we say marketing, yes, signs work, flyers work, but that should be tertiary, right? Rifle, my primary is going to be Google, because guys, when you want something, you Google it. That's what everybody on the planet does. Second level down, like you said, and I do this a lot. If you need some instant money, get on Justin's ad strategy and do that. This crap works. It absolutely works. And then do the flyers and signs kind of to fill in the gaps. But yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Cody. And number 3, run with me with number 3. What is it?
So this is a management hat, and you're not going to wear this hat early on in business because you're literally going to be doing everything. So there's really nobody there to manage. So you get to manage yourself in the early days. What do we mean by that? Well, we're talking about getting up in the morning, having a schedule, putting systems in place so that you're not strung out and it's like super just you can't get anything done. A lot of times that's how it feels. You're out there washing, the phone's ringing, you don't have systems in place. You're not one thing I did, which was really stupid, is I didn't capture any customer data. I didn't have a CRM. I didn't have, anything. And so learning to manage your business, bookkeeping, right? You got all these things going on that you need to be working on, but your main focus is going to get the money, go do the job, get the check, keep that thing rolling, right? Get some wins. But you got these other things that you need to be managing. As you grow, you get to hand those things off to other people. One of the things that Aaron has taught me is having an answering service, which can extremely change your life. It's a way to manage your day, right? How do you do that?
Well, an answering service is so brilliant because people, when they call in, all they want is somebody to hear them and take their message, right? It's the old, the old dirt track Southern life thing. I know they want to talk to the boss now. They gonna talk to me. And it's like the hell they are. I got stuff I got to do. They ain't getting in touch with me. Well, they're a customer. They want to give you their money. Well, they can talk to them and then I'll call them back. Because one thing you're going to find is just on this little thing is that if you have an answering service, just all the nonsense that comes through the phone, like Home Advisor, Angie's List, all these things are calling you all the time. People want to sell you SEO. People want to do. It's like all of that stops, and now you're finally, especially if you're a one-man band, you're able to focus on the cleaning that you're having to do. If you got to stop up on a ladder 30 feet up, bro, that's a danger. And so, just these little management things that, as you grow, you're going to be managing more people. But maybe the marketing, if you implement it early, will start to take off. And now you're only focused on like, okay, who's doing maintenance and I'm doing management, right? Like maybe I do some of the maintenance and I have my guys do some of the maintenance.
Like Mike.
Right.
That's where Mike, other part of the core forwards, Mike Vadan, he's to that point where Mike is still super active in his business, but he gets to pick and choose what he wants to do now because he's got competent guys out there watching. They can make basic repairs. When there's a major repair, Mike jumps in. He's getting phone calls that are probably still annoying, but he's not trying to run a surface cleaner at the same time. So he can just say, screw that, delete, Example, we had a guy call, let's see, Monday morning, random homeowner from Chicago, watched one of my videos about cleaning a beadboard ceiling, was like, hey, I seen your video and I just want to know how you did that. And I actually was on the phone with him and I clicked speaker so I could listen in. I'm listening to what the guy's saying. He didn't know I was there. And I said, so are you buying anything from me? I'm being a little blunt, but they don't know, and in their mind, because they watched a YouTube video that I put out. Now I owe them 10 minutes of my time. Like, I know that's how you're thinking, but that's not reality. And I can't do that all day. Now I've got an Ashley, I've got a physical person as a receptionist, but if you don't have that early on, I would encourage you to get a call service. That's going to take a huge burden off your plate. Use a CRM. You're riding down the road and you're like, what was that lady's house? Andrew, what was it? I can't remember. We did it last year. You remember that? Mm-hmm. You got it in a CRM. You go, boom, there it is, right?
If you could calculate all the money you've lost not having a CRM, bro, like people, if you can't remember it and bad. It's on a piece of paper somewhere, it's gone.
Right.
Guess what? You can just hope that she calls you again, maybe one day. No, they don't remember you. So don't say that. I want y'all to put that in the comments. They ain't nobody remember you. No. They don't remember you. They ain't your family. They don't care. You have to visit them 2, 3, 4 times for them to care. Yeah. That point, they know you. They like you. They trust you. You've had enough time to really talk with them and build a decent relationship. But after the first run, man, if you don't have their name and number, you're never going to get back for a second time, unless you're just the only guy in town, maybe. But good luck in a major city like that. They're gone forever. So having some of these little, I call them strategic blockades, these things that can give you your time back, an answering team, your CRM, but also learning how to delegate. I think the first thing a guy should hire is a helper. That's the first thing, a little tech. hire them out, pay them hourly. Some guys like to do commission, however you want to do it. But that's the first point of delegation. I think one guy per truck is optimal, but I've ran two guys who I delegated to in one truck, and one was the leader and one just pulled hoses basically and watered down plants. And they were a team. They crushed, when they were working. And that allowed me to kind of go out and do estimates and do what I need to do and really focus on, my marketing and focusing on some of the other things just to drive in more business. And so that's the management position for that early guy, probably year two. Moving forward, he may want to expand a little bit and add some more of those techs and admins.
Yeah, and we get a lot of churn in this industry where guys they don't make it. They get a skid, they get a trailer, they're super excited, and then we may hear from them 5-6 months later, and they're just burned out. And you can tell the business is running them; they're not running the business. And the thing is, it really wouldn't have mattered what industry they picked; they would have probably not made it because they don't know how to run the business and not let it consume them. In the early days, you're going to be pretty consumed by this thing if you're trying to grow it rapidly. So mark off a year where you don't get to have any kind of life and get your wife on board for that, right? Emily used to complain because all you do is Southeast softwares. I'm like, yeah, what about now? Though? What's up? Put 2 commas in there and you like it. But it takes a lot of banging your head against the wall. But the goal should be to start, you got all these stack of hats and you start taking them off, right? Until now, the only hat I wear is the CEO hat. My job, literally, I told the guys the other day, my job now at the company is to make about 4 or 5 big decisions a week. That's it. That's all I'm good for. I'm not building a trailer. I'm not doing inventory. I'm not answering tech support. I'm not doing anything except teaching the class on Friday and kind of pushing the big buttons and the big levers and checking out. That's the goal. If you want to go that big, it's definitely doable. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But you got to learn to wear these hats, man, and don't let it discourage you because you're in learning mode. It's brand new to you. Hang in there, hang with it. You can make it.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it is releasing the guilt attached to being the guy that you are now. There's people who be like, no, I'll answer the phone till I die. And it's like, well, cool. Just answer the phone till you die then. Like Walmart don't. So I don't know what to tell you. Apple don't. And we could work our way down to even much, much smaller companies who that guy is not answering the phone. And if you're emotionally attached to that after, some fictional moral code or something that someone told you one day, or your daddy's daddy did it, it's like, well, then you can live your daddy's life and
you're going to be really frustrated until you die because your business can only grow to as much as you can get done. Yep. If you're willing to take those hats off, the thing is there's no end to the amount it can go out this way because you can keep hiring people. You train them, you get them competent, you build systems, and now you can keep expanding. If you still got to be the guy because you're romantic about that, well, you're limited to what one person can do, and you're going to get stressed out. And what's the point? Your quality of life is going to suck. You're going to have days where you just might as well go back to the old job you had because that was less hectic and the money's not worth it. But it can be, and you can get it there if you learn to wear these 3 hats.
Absolutely. Guys, that's the 3-hat video. Take it in, take it for what it is. Hey, listen, if you're wanting to start your business off this year and you're a serious starter, go ahead and click the first link in the description, first link in the comments. Get your tickets to the event. It will sell out. Cody and I are going to kill it that weekend. I'm just going to hook you up to a fire hose of marketing deal. I'm going to teach you guys everything you can consume. And Cody is as well. We're going to clean some stuff too. We're going to clean a roof, a house, a driveway. We're going to go through all that process for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you love the comment. If you're into pressure washing, into starting this type of business, learn how it operates. I'll see you guys in the next video.